أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد المصطفى
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. أما بعد فقد روي أن الإمام الصادق عليه الصلاة والسلام قال: ليس من شيعتنا من أنكر ثلاثا: المعراج والسؤال في القبر والشفاعة. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
I mentioned this hadith yesterday as well, and that according to this narration, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam had said that laysa min shi'atina. So we learn in the light of the hadith that someone who denies three things is not one of our Shias: Mi'raj, the ascension of the Prophet, and questioning inside the grave, was su'alu fil qabr, was shafa'a, and intercession, shafa'a. So there is no room for a believer, a mu'min, to deny these three things which are part of our faith. And questioning happens as soon as the grave is closed. Now, sometimes we find a person gets buried somewhere. Like I mentioned yesterday, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has al-malaikatul naqala, the transferring angels who transfer the dead person from one place to the place where his turbat and soil, his teenat, belongs. So this is a very interesting discussion, but this is what the justice of Allah says, to transfer the person to where he belongs. This hikayat is narrated in Al-Habl al-Mateen, and that one of the servants in the shrine of Imam Rida alayhi salam says that he saw in the dream, he went out of the place of Huffaz, memorizers of Quran, and he saw there's a bunch of people coming, walking, and there's a Nurani person with a Nurani face walking in the front. So they arrived at a place in the Sahan, in the yard of Imam Rida alayhi salam, and then that Nurani person said, "Akhriju hadha al-khabith." Take out this khabith person. So when they started to dig up the grave, this is the dream that this khadim of the shrine of Imam Rida alayhi salam saw. So he asked, "Who is this person?" And they told him this person is Amirul Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. So according to this dream, Imam Ali alayhi salam asked to take out that dead person. And this is where he says, I saw Imam Rida alayhi salam coming from his shrine, and he said to his grandfather, Ya Jaddah, أسألك وألتمس إليك أن تعفو عنه وتجاوز عن خطيئته بي. I request you, in other words, to forgive him and ignore his, in other words, forgive his mistake for my sake. And Imam Ali alayhi salam said to Imam Rida alayhi salam, his son Imam Rida alayhi salam, that هذا الفاسق الفاجر كان يشرب الخمر. This fasiq and fajr person used to drink alcohol. قال رضا عليه السلام نعم لكنه أوصى حين مماته أن يدفن بجواري فأرجو عفوك عنه. But he did his wasiyat, in other words, he did his wasiyat at the time of death to be buried in the neighborhood and proximity of mine, that means in the neighborhood and proximity of Imam Rida alayhi salam, so I request you to forgive him. And Imam alayhi salam replied back, قَدْ عَفَوْتُ عَنْهُ مِنْ أَجْلِكَ. I forgive him for your sake. Please say salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
This Khadim, he woke up from the dream, and then he says, and I went out to that same place in the Sahn, in the yard of Imam Rida alayhi salam shrine. I went to the same place, and I found in the daytime, I found there was, when you dig up a grave recently, the soil has moved, and you can understand that someone has dig up this grave and the soil has been moved. So I saw the same spot, the soil had been moved from that place, and I asked the Khuddam, the rest, those people who take care of these burials in the shrine, they told me that this was such and such person who was buried yesterday. So this is something which is proven fact in Islam, that Jiwar of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, if a person dies with Iman and he burying in the Jiwar and in the Qurbat and proximity of Ahlul Bayt has its own benefits. And also it is narrated that if you recall the story of Haj Ali al-Baghdadi in Mafatih al-Jinan, I never mentioned that story up till now. Inshallah, some other time I can talk about that in full detail. It's a very interesting story, but I just want to mention this one point from that story. It's a long story where, according to that narration, Haj Ali al-Baghdadi rahmatullah alayhi was a pious muttaqi, pious mu'min, and from Baghdad, and he met with Imam Sahib al-Zaman al-Salam, and he walked with him and had so many questions to ask, and asked several questions from the Imam while he was walking. He didn't recognize this is the Imam, but he was asking the questions. One of the questions he asked, according to that narration, is that سألت الإمام سيدنا صحيح ما قالوا من زار الحسين عليه السلام ليلة الجمعة فله الأمان. Whoever performs the ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam on the Thursday night, he has the protection. That means hellfire cannot touch him. Is that correct? And Imam Sahib Zaman alayhi salam replied, Ay wallahi wa jarad dam'u min aynihi. He said, yes, I swear to Allah. And tear dropped down from his eyes and he started to cry. وَبَكَى فَقُلْتُ مَسْأَلَةٌ يَا سَيِّدِي. Then he asked another question from Imam Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salam. He said, Is'al, ask. I said, زرت الإمام رضا عليه السلام ولقيت أعرابي من الشروقية. I visited Imam Rida alayhi salam in such and such year, and I met a desert dwelling person from such and such place, from Najaf, from the eastern side of Najaf, and I asked him كيف وجدت مشهد الرضا عليه السلام. I asked this person, how did you find the mashhad of Imam Rida alayhi salam? And this person said to me, إنها جنة, that this is definitely paradise. هذا خامس عشر يوم آكل من مائدة مولاي الرضا عليه السلام. كيف يجرأ منكر ونكير أن يقترب من قبري فقد نما لحمي ودمي من مضيفه ومن طعامه. So this Haj Ali Baghdadi is saying to Imam Rida, Imam Sahib Zaman alayhi salam, that I met an Arab person from such and such location of Najaf in Mashhad, when I visited Mashhad, and he said to me that when I said, how is Mashhad? He said, it's paradise. It's 15th day that I'm eating from the Ma'idah, from the food spread of Imam Rida alayhi salam. You know, nowadays they have prepared such a nice place and beautiful, nice, clean restaurant, and people tell that it's even much better than before, and such nice and clean and beautiful food that they provide to the Zawar, and this is the Mudif, this is the food restaurant of Imam Rida alayhi salam for the Zawar, for the Za'irin. So this Arab person said to him that it's 15 days I have been eating from the food of Imam Rida alayhi salam. How can Munkar and Nakir get close to me, to my grave? And because my blood and flesh has been grown from the food of Imam Rida alayhi salam. Asahihun hada? Is this correct? Hadari Baghdadi is asking Imam Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salam, according to that narration. Yunqidhuhu al-Imam Rida alayhi salam min Munkar wa Nakir. Is Imam Rida alayhi salam going to save him from Munkar and Nakir because his flesh and blood is grown from the food of Imam Rida alayhi salam? Imam Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salam replied according to this narration, Na'am, Wallahi fa inna jaddi daminun lahu. Yes, I swear to Allah, certainly my grandfather is damin and guarantor for that. So this is something which is confirmed through multiple riwayat. So this is now the questioning of the grave. A grave happens as soon as you close the grave and you put the soil, the angels arrive and they start questioning. Now is the duration of barzakh starting. Barzakh is defined in the hadith of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Let me tell you the hadith. This is the ayat of Quran, وَمِنْ وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. So this is from Surah Maryam. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, according to that narration, for Wallahi akhafu alaykum min al-barzakh. I swear to Allah, I am afraid about you people, in other words, regarding barzakh. So obviously we believe in Shafa'at. Shafa'at of Ahlul Bayt is confirmed, that's correct. But in barzakh time is the time from the time we are put into the grave till the trumpet is blown by Israfil. This duration is a very long duration. Way longer than our life in this world. Way longer. We don't even know when Imam Sahib al-Zaman will appear, right? He may appear tonight, he may appear tomorrow, he may appear 1,000 years from now, whenever Allah wishes. In the hand of it's in the Mashiyyat and will of Allah. We don't know when He appears. Whenever Allah wishes. So, and then we have government of Imam Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salam, government of, we have Raj'at, return of Ahlul Bayt, and all those long time of justice and punishment of the Zalimeen. Even in the life of this world, forget about having punishment in the Akhirat alone. Zalimeen and criminals will be punished in this world as well. So it's a long duration that everybody is going to stay in barzakh. So Mal Barzakh, the narrator asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, and he said, Innahul qabru munzu laylatil wafati ila yawm al-qiyamah. Barzakh is from the grave till since he dies till the day of judgment. So it's narrated that the people inside the grave, Qutb al-Rawandi says in his book, إن الموتى يحضرون في كل ليلة جمعة من شهر رمضان. We are in the month of Ramadan, the month of Allah, Shahrullah al-A'zam, greatest month of Allah. The dead people are, in every Thursday night, Laylat Jumu'ah, Thursday night of the month of Ramadan, they arrive and to their family members and they are crying. فَيُنَادُونَ أَهْلَهُمْ وَأَوْلَادَهُمْ وَأَقْرِبَاءَهُمْ. They call their family members and their children and their relatives, and irhamuna wa tafaddalu alayna, have some rahmat on us, some fadl, some mercy on us, bi khairatikum wa hasanatikum, with the various types of khair and good acts of acts that we may perform. You can read nothing even. If you don't have nothing, you can read just salawat. Send one salawat to one marhum. Read one fatiha. You don't have money, you can still give sadaqah. A good deed, every amalun salih is a sadaqah in Islam. Reciting salawat is also a sadaqah. So no one can say, well, I don't have money, so I cannot. Islam is not depending on richness. It's about how much we are ready for ma'naviyat. Every amalun salih, every good deed is a sadaqah that we can do. وَاذْكُرُونَ رَحِمَكُمُ اللَّهِ. Remember us, may Allah have mercy on you. فَقَدْ جَلَسْنَا فِي سُجُونٍ ضَيِّقَةٍ. Because we are in tight prisons. Grave is a prison. If a person is not muttaqi, it's like a prison. بِهُمُومٍ كَثِيرًا. With a lot of sorrows. وَهُمُومٍ. فَلَا تَبْخَلُوا عَلَيْنَا بِدُعَائِكُمْ وَصَدَقَاتِكُمْ. Don't be bakhil and miser regarding your dua and sadaqah towards us. قَبْلَ أَن يَكُونَ مَصِيرَكُمْ مَصِيرَنَا. Before your destiny becomes similar to our destiny. That means you also end up becoming in the same state how we are. فَقَدْ كُنَّا مِثْلَكُمْ مُتَنَعِّمِينَ. Because we were similar to you, enjoying having the blessings of Allah. We were similar to you. Now we are lying in the graves. And so, وَلَا تَنْسَوْا الْفَضْلَ. Do not forget doing mercy upon us. تَفَضَّلُوا عَلَيْنَا بِدِرْهَمْ. At least 1 dirham. Send 1 dirham for us. Or raghif, or 1 bread. And also, Islam teaches us the sadaqah that you give in Ramadan has much more sawab than the same sadaqah you give in any other month other than Ramadan. Oh, ma tasha'un, faha antum lahiquna fasawfa tabkun. And the dead people say, you will also end up crying. وَلَا تُفِيدُكُمْ دُمُوعُكُمْ. And then your tears are not going to help you at that time. كَمَا نَفْعَلُ. The way we are doing right now. فَجِدُّ. Become serious. وَانْتَهِزُوا الْفُرْصَةِ. And take benefit from the opportunity. قَبْلَ فَوَاتِهَا. Before the opportunity is lost. Sometimes, so it's narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, Prophet said that هؤلاء إخوانكم في الدين تحولوا بعد تنعمهم في الدنيا إلى تراب. Those people, another hadith says, those people are your brothers in religion. We learn in the light of the hadith that they end up getting hair after and getting the blessings in dunya. They are now in the soil. يَصْرَخُونَ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ. They are crying from the punishment. وَيَقُولُونَ. And they say, لَوْ أَنفَقْنَا مِمَّا كَانَ فِي أَيْدِينَا. If we had given for the sake, in other words, given for the sake of Allah, infaq fi sabilillah, from what we have in our control. I travel to different cities and I go to houses of people. You just look at how many toys they purchase for their children. So disturbing. Look at the number of toys available in the house for the kids. And we know it's going to be broken. Maybe it's made in China. Maybe 15 days, 1 month, 2 months. How much money is spent on buying those posters and dolls for their daughters? I go into the houses of people and staying in their bedrooms with the pictures of those Disney princesses and the walls, and how many dolls are all over in the room. How much money they spend. So these are very important issues in our life. So Prophet says, Prophet says that so في رضا الخالق لما احتجنا إليكم. So we learn in the hadith, if we had done infaq from what we had in our hands for the sake of the pleasure of the Creator, we would not stand in need of you, stood in need of you, in other words. And obviously these people, ثُمَّ يَعُودُونَ بِالْحَسْرَةِ وَالنَّدَمِ. They return back with hasrat, repentance, and hasrat and repentance, nadamat. So it is mentioned also in another hadith narrated from the Holy Prophet that إِذَا تَصَدَّقَ أَحَدُكُمْ لِمَيِّتٍ, if one of you performs a sadaqah for the mayyit, there is an angel who takes your sadaqah in the tray of noor. The angel takes your sadaqah in the tray of noor to that dead person. So that person comes, that person is there, so he the angel says, هذه هدية أهلكم إليكم. This is the gift of your family to you. فيتسلمها الميت, mayyit takes it, ويدخلها قبره, he takes the hadiya into his grave. ويتسع بها مضجعه, because of the gift the grave expands. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, اعلموا أنه من ترحم على ميت, whoever has performed rahmat over a mayyit بصدقة, with any sadaqah, فقد أجر عند الله مثل جبل أحد. He gets the reward in other words, in the eyes of Allah, like the mountain of Uhud. And another scholar of ours has said that he saw a king in his dream, and the king was a Muslim king. There is no room for kingdom and royalties in Islam. Obviously, it's haram, right? The government is only for the Jami' wa Sharait Mujtahid. So this king was begging in the dream, send me as much sadaqah, as much food that you give to a dog. Send me even that much will help me in the barzakh. And there are some people who have their death, their parents dying away, and they were very good doing children. In the life of the parents, after the parents died, they forget. Never recite Surah Al-Fatiha, never do any good deed, never fulfill the wajib hukuk of the parents, which is the most important thing. The child will become aq, even though he was a good doer in the time of the life of the parents, now he'll become aq. And the opposite is also true. If a child was aq, disowned by the parents in their lifetime, and after the parents die, he now starts doing good deeds towards the parents and fulfilling their hukuk, now the child becomes again a muhsin and good doer in the eyes of Allah. So, lot of respect of the parents. When Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam mentioned the list of the shuhada of Karbala, list of the shuhada, the people who are going to die, he was in the khayma, in the tent, and talking about those who are going to die. He did not mention about Qasim ibn al-Hasan. Qasim ibn Hassan is a young boy, about approximately 13 years old. Throughout his life, he was wishing to become a shaheed, a martyr, for the sake of Islam, for the sake of, under Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. But now, when the time of martyrdom comes, Imam al-Hussein didn't mention his name, according to that narration. And according to that narration, he goes away and he starts to cry. And in crying, while crying, he thinks about the wasiyat of his father, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. What Imam al-Hasan said in the wasiyat. Imam al-Hasan had given him, according to that narration, that writing. So he opens up that writing of his father, Imam al-Hasan, Bunayya Qasim Adrik Ammak al-Husayn. This is what Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, according to the narration, had asking, in other words, his son, dear son, asking Imam Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam to help out your uncle Hussein. This is what makes Qasim ibn Hassan happy. When he reads that, he became so happy. And he brings that to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, his uncle, because Imam Hussein did not mention his name. This is where, according to the narration, Imam al-Hussein told him that Ali Asghar will also become shaheed, in other words. This Qasim becomes so muftarib, and he says to Imam al-Hussein, Hal yasiluna ila al-khiyam. Will the enemies and ashqiya reach the tents? Because this young boy of the Ahlul Bayt of Banu Hashim his ghairat cannot tolerate how the ashqiya can enter into the khiyam. and Ali Asghar becomes, a martyr. But so now on the next day, Qasim ibn Hassan comes to Imam al-Hussein to seek the izn for the jihad. But Imam al-Hussein is not ready, not giving him the permission. He knows that everyone is going to become shaheed, but it's very difficult to give permission to the son of your own brother, Qasim ibn al-Hassan, such a great personality. And Qasim ibn Hassan started to kiss the hand of Imam al-Hussein. Started to kiss the hand, and according to narration, he falls down over the feet of Imam al-Hussein, seeking the permission from Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. Imam al-Hussein raises him up according to that narration, and they both started to cry, and they both fell down. And Qasim becomes unconscious. Sayyida Zainab arrives. Every time Sayyida Zainab had been helping out. How would you wake up the person who is unconscious? You sprinkle some water, but there is no water to sprinkle. Sayyida Zainab was crying and her tears fall over the face. And this is where he wakes up, and Imam al-Hussein finally gives permission to Qasim ibn al-Hassan. And Qasim goes into the Maqtal, and when he finally falls down after doing his jihad, this is where my Mawla when he arrives, this is where we find that the armies have been moving from one side to the other, and the janaza of Qasim was brought towards the Khiyam. Ala la'natullah wal qawmi adh-dhalimin. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها، اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين واخذل الكفار والمنافقين. اللهم انصر من نصر الدين واخذل من خذل المسلمين. اللهم انصر واحفظ وأيد علماءنا الربانيين ومراجعنا الربانيين، لا سيما الولي الفقيه قائد المسلمين. اللهم انصر جيوش المسلمين وعساكر الموحدين. اللهم فك عن الأسراء المسلمين. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى، وعجل في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان، واجعلنا من أنصاره وأشياعه وأتباعه وأعوانه بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. One Surah Al-Fatiha and 3 times Surah Al-Ikhlas for Marhum Wazir Haider. Bani Fatima and Marhum Dildar Haider and Marhuma Sakina Batul. 1 Surah Al-Fatiha and 3 times Surah Al-Ikhlas.